friends. Welcome to another episode of Women in Sports Unplugged. Our next guest is Neha Tripathi, professional woman golfer. Neha started playing golf at the age of 11. She turned professional at the age of 18. She finished fourth in the Order of Merit list in her debut year 2010-2011. She was the Rookie of the Year. She was number one on the Order of Merit for the year 2013 in the Women's Golf Association of India. She was placed third in the Order of Merit for the years 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. She is currently a member of the Ladies European Tour and has had 16 wins on the Women's Golf Association of India. She holds the record of the best score, 10 under par, for a round in a professional golf tournament amongst Indian women golfers. Hi, Neha. Thank you so much for coming on this show. I'm so excited to meet with you and to interview you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Radha. Thank you so much, Radha. It's my pleasure, just talking about women in sports and, the title of your whole production stuff going on with Women's Sports Unplugged. It was something that really, really excited me and wanted me to get onto the show. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. And it's so important to hear about the journeys of different sports women who are playing sports professionally. So thank you.
Thank you.
So let me start by asking you, what does sports mean to you?
So when you talk about sports, the one word that rings in my head is lifestyle. Not just because I've been playing it since I was a kid, but also because it's something which I feel every individual should bring in their life in some way or the other, whether it means you go and play table tennis or you go and play billiards or pool. Just get yourself out there and, just go out there and experience a sport in some way or the other. I feel that it's the need of the hour for now. And I think everybody should, get themselves to play something at some point of time in their lives.
You mentioned the word lifestyle for sports. I think that is so important. And I must tell you that over the lockdown, I discovered a world of sports as well. I started playing basketball with the children in the building. And you talked about pool, and there's a pool table in the building, and started playing pool. So what you said, it's so important to have it as part of your daily life. I think it resonates with me. But tell me, how did you get initiated into this? Was it your parents? What was it? Who provided you that first step?
So my dad's in the army, and all his life while growing up, he was really good as an academic student, but he always had an eye for playing something. So when he got admission, like when he got into the National Defense Academy in Pune, I think he went around playing different sports, not just an individual, but also team-based sports. And then finally, when he became an officer, he put in a lot of time playing football and tennis with his colleagues, with all the soldiers. So when my brother and I were growing up, from the start, my dad had made one thing very clear to us. I want you to excel in your academics, but I want you guys to go out there and play a sport. Now, you guys could go and play football and break your bones. I don't care. I want you guys picking up a sport and playing something. So I think when we were growing up, my brother Ketan and I played cricket, badminton, table tennis, pool, everything that we could just get our hands on, just so that my dad was happy and he could see us, getting out of the house and making most of our times in the evening. So it was because of him that I started. And I think it got even more solidified in my life when my mom started giving me a lot of lessons on meditation, just to show me how to balance it out, to stay calm and everything. And I think in my teens I knew that sports was going to be the way to go.
Wow. But tell me, how did you think of golf?
Okay. So when I was 12 years old, my dad, actually 11 years old, my dad was posted in this hill station, Lansdowne. And he would take me every evening to play tennis with him and a bunch of his friends. And I kind of didn't like the sport because it involved a lot of running on the court. And my dad would just make sure that, the hour or 2 hours that I was on court, I was moving left, right, up and down. I didn't enjoy it at all because it was something where I would get so tired that when I would come back home, I couldn't spend time with my parents or my brother, and I would just want to crash. So one day, Dad just decided to take me to the golf club. He had a game with his senior officers, and he told me, "Yeah, here, take the wedge. Just go to this chipping green, and see if you like it." And honestly, because I had been playing for so long, like everything racket based, that my hand-eye coordination, touch which was great. So when I stepped on the field, I connected the ball immediately. I saw the ball going up in the air, and I was just like, this is all you do here? You just stand and hit balls all day? Wow, what a great sport. Let me just take it up. So that's how I got into golf. And I told my dad that I want to play golf. It seems like a great sport. And my dad was not really the most happy person to hear that. But the fact that I was just out there doing something, playing, he gave into that. And 4 years later, I was playing the junior tour and I was amongst the top athletes in the country. So I don't think he, really wanted to get me out of the sport after that.
That's so wonderful. So yes, so your father was played a big role in this initiation.
Yes.
Was there any coach who came along later on in your life who helped you, who groomed you?
So my first coach was Mr. Romit Bose. He is from Delhi, and this was I had actually been playing golf for about 2-3 years already, but it was more like a hobby. So my dad then decided to put me down under someone's major guidance who knew more about the sport. And Romit sir was the one who came in to help at that time. Then subsequently, I moved from him to Mr. Anitya Chand because I got selected in Mission Olympics, which was a program for all the army kids to come in together. And once I started working with Anitya sir, it was just like a really long journey with him for almost 8-10 years. And I think 4 years back, I switched to Mr. Jesse Gariwal, who is from Chandigarh. And our relationship as a student and coach has been going pretty strong. So I feel like there was that switch which I needed where I felt my game had become a little stagnant and, I was not being able to get to another stage, and I switched coaches. But yeah, so I've had coaches all my life, and it's been an amazing journey with all of them.
Yes, and I think coaches, and I've been talking to so many women sports professionals. Coaches play such an important role in grooming you. If you meet them at the right time, it can have such a transformation.
Totally, I
Yes.
completely agree with that, 100%.
But tell me, Neha, you grew up in an army background. I have to ask you this question. Do you think that had big role to play in your initiation into the world of sports in general? And would things have been different if it was a professional, non-army background in a city?
So I think that you're actually kind of right there. You're knocking on that right door when you speak about the army initiation, honestly, initiation, sorry. Um, Today in India, 80% of the golf courses are actually under the army. And, and even when it comes to playing a lot of sports, I'm talking about polo, shooting, there is so much of, support that the army has been giving to the kids these days, that when I started golf, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And it was, when I started playing tournaments, I just realized how tough it can get for people coming in from the corporate background, because parents don't really have the time to be going after their kids all the time. So they have to manage everything on their own, which can work for you in a way where you become really independent. And it can also be a disadvantage, because those are the years where you really got to be disciplined, and it could go in a positive way or a negative way if you really don't follow the line. So I felt like, being with my dad, he was just so strict with us in our early days, that we just knew that if he's telling us to wake up at 4, it means waking up at 4 or 5, and he's going to make sure we do an extra round of 100-meter sprint somewhere. really, really organized that way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you need that discipline if you're going to play sports at the level that you're playing.
100%.
Yeah. But tell me, golf takes a lot of time, right? When you're practicing and you're on the field. So, and you started at such a young age. So, how did you balance school? Was your school supportive of this? Because lots of schools are like, okay, you want to follow sports, that's up to you, but you cannot ignore our requirements, etc., when it comes to studies and so on and so forth. So how was it with your school?
So a bunch of the schools, because I just kind of grew up everywhere because my dad was getting posted every 2 years. Most of the times we ended up being in an army school. Uh, but from the 7th to the 10th grade, I was in Sophia Girls School in Meerut, and they were very strict with attendance. So I remember my first year, I was amongst the toppers in my batch. And after that happened, they just gave me a thumbs up about, I know this girl can manage. And I never faltered really. Like I was one of those kids who's, even if you give me 2 days to study for an exam, I knew I would score an average of an 80%. So my parents never had an issue with that. At the school, so I feel like I was really blessed with the teachers and the principals that I came across because they completely understood where I was coming from. I do understand when the schools give you a tough time about your studies because they do want to make sure that even academically you're doing well. So if you can balance it out and give them a reason enough to be out there in the field, I'm sure they'll be supportive of everybody. So I think I lucked out there because they were very understanding.
Yes, no, I think schools play such an important role. So I'm co-creating this series with Sports Village, which is India's largest youth sports platform, and they've tied up with so many schools, and they're doing such amazing work to encourage children, girls, and boys to play sports. And I think schools are also now open to focusing on sports. When I went to school, it wasn't like that. So it's great that you had an advantage with some of your schools. But tell me, Neha, when did you know, or when did you decide that you want to play golf professionally?
Um, so I feel like my decision to turn pro was a little hasty because I turned pro when I was 18 years old. I was We had these golfing trials for the Asian Games in 2010, and I missed out by a shot. Like I ended up making, I dropped 3 shots in 2 holes, and I lost out on making the team by 1 stroke. And I remember going back, I remember I went back to my room and I called my dad, and I was just crying and crying on the phone because it was like one opportunity that everybody looks at, right? You're going to go represent the country. Asian Games was a really big deal because Olympics wasn't, at that point of time, golf wasn't part of the Olympics. So everybody looked at Asian Games as that one team and individual event where you can just do wonders. So when I didn't make it to the team, I was very disappointed. And it took me like a couple of weeks to get out of it when my dad asked me that, okay, so what's the plan next? What do you want to do you want to wait another 4 years to try and get selected for the Asian games, or do you want to do something else? And I told him that I was very clear about the fact that I was going to play golf. So I told him that I don't mind actually going and trying out the pro circuit. So I turned pro when I was 18, and it was in September of 2010. So I've just completed 10 years of being a professional golfer. And the first 1 year was a little tough because you're thrown into a field from a place where you have your parents coming around and managing stuff for you, helping you out as a junior, as an amateur. And suddenly you see all these 24, 25 years old who are managing everything on their own. They know what they want, their golf game is great, and you're going and rubbing shoulders with them, not just rubbing shoulders with them, but competing against these people. So it was a little tough year, but I was just like, okay, I guess this is where I need to start maturing up and telling my parents that I got this, I can do it on my own. So yeah, I turned pro in 28 when in 2010 I was 18, and I mean, it's just been an amazing journey since then. I've absolutely loved every minute of it.
Who would think, looking at you, that you've been a pro golfer for 10 years and that you're 28 years old? But
Yes.
wow, 10 years as a pro golfer, starting at 18, that's an incredible journey, Neha, already for you. So tell me, which has been your most memorable tournament that you've played? in these 10 years?
So I have two really favorite events. One was 2 years. It happened 2 years back. I was playing this tournament in ITC, and ITC is one of my favorite golf courses in India. And second day of the tournament, I shot my personal best record of a 10 under par, which is also which is the best round shot by a male professional golfer in that golf course. So I tied the best round, and I ended up winning that tournament by 14 shots. So that's one of my favorite tournaments, because I was so dialed in throughout, and it's one of those tournaments which every time I feel low, I fall back to, and I tell myself, if you could do that 2 years ago, you can do it anytime. You just need to keep practicing hard and just stay calm. And the second tournament was again in 2018. I had gone to play in the States. I had gone to qualify for the ladies PGA tour, and my first time ever there to try out for the qualifiers. um, we had like about 300 odd players come for the first stage, and I made it on the final round with a 6-footer on the last hole. I finished 96. I was top 45 after the first three rounds, and I think fourth round I got so ahead of myself, and I was so nervous that my friend who was caddying for me just kept telling me, it's okay, you got this. I didn't know that after the while approaching the last hole, I didn't actually think that I was going to make it, because I had ended up dropping a couple of shots in the later half of the round. And I remember I made a 6-footer on the last hole, and I went to the scoring desk and I gave in my card, little disappointed, because in my head I thought I'd missed out on the opportunity of making it to the next stage. But as I submitted my card, the official sitting across the table said, "Oh, Neha, congratulations, you're in through to the second round." And I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me! What are you talking about?" But like, that experience was just amazing, playing against 300 odd players, and just making sure that you just look at yourself, don't get ahead of yourself, and you stay as calm as you can. And given those circumstances I was in, it was pretty enthralling. So yeah, that's my second favorite tournament.
Yeah. I mean, you said so many words in terms of emotions, right? Calm and stress and enthralling and
Yeah.
excitement. I mean, you go through all these emotions while playing a sport. Isn't that
Yes,
incredible? That is
I know.
just so incredible. But tell me, before you hit the golf course, is there some routine you follow? A lot of sports persons, there's something that they do, before they play a game or a match or something. So is there something that you do?
So I like to spend like the first 15 minutes of the morning by myself, where I'm just focusing a lot on my breath. I've been into meditation for the last 7-8 years now. So there are times when I get bored out of it also, where I'm just like, okay, I don't think it's working. But there are times, but like over a series of tournaments, I'll actually fall back into it, because I'll just tell myself that whether this works for you or not with respect to the tournament, look at it as it working for you as a human being, just for your lifestyle. So I really like to wake up and just sit by myself for 15 minutes, catching up, like just watching my breath and doing some chanting work, and then like setting out my foot for the day. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not only in sports, it's, if sometimes when people go in for important meetings or presentations, everyone has a small ritual, if I can use that word, which they
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
before they go. It just calms their nerves.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, Neha, tell me, you've been a sports person. So, if I might ask, which are other three sports women that you admire?
So Lorena Okoa is one really famous professional golfer. She played on LPGA for 10 years. Her goal was to finish number one on the LPGA, and then to just go back to Mexico and promote golf and grow golf. And once she achieved, and she did achieve that feat, she was number one for a bunch of years. So she's one of my favorite players. Then is Annika Sorenstam, also another professional golfer. I think her grit, her career just speaks volumes about what she's brought to the sport. The third person I think would be Serena Williams, because not just because of the energy that she brings to the court, but also to the fire that she has within her, that even when she became pregnant and she came back on court, she just came with the same grit and determination that she was there to win a tournament. And she still plays like that. So I absolutely adore that about her. And if there's one thing I want to take from all three of them, is just their determination to, achieve their goals, and then to make sure that, they impart the same knowledge to the players who are growing up watching them. So those three for me.
Yeah, determination to achieve your goals and then to impart that to the youngsters around you, or people, who are watching you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so what you said leads me really well to the next question, which was
Mhm.
going to be the question before the rapid fire round. That
Right.
message that you would want to impart to young girls and leave with young upcoming girls who are playing sports to take up, to look at sports as a career, or and also to parents and schools to encourage sports. So, what message would you like to give?
So, earlier in the conversation, you were telling me about you running this program where you're getting in a bunch of schools to get kids to start playing sport. I feel that is a great way to tap into talent, because in today's times, you could teach a kid to, become an engineer or a doctor or a sports player. It's just tapping onto the talent at the right time. And schools play a really important part in that, because not not only do you solidify their academic base and their knowledge, but you're also teaching them how to be an individual outside the school, and as a how to go out there and represent yourself and be more confident and stuff. And the best way to get all of these things, I feel, is through sports, because it not only teaches you to be confident, but it also teaches you to be a team player when you need to be. It teaches you to be a leader when you need to be. So I feel like schools are the best time, schools are like the best institutions to really like get kids to start playing sports. Having said that, with respect to girls and guys, like, I feel we're today, in today's time, girls are not further behind from guys. In fact, there are so many places where we are taking on the roles that, I guess, 30-40 years women were so, they were not used to taking up such roles. It was always a male dominant society, but we now have leaders in the form of, I mean, you name it, and they're all there, right? So I feel everybody should just come out and look at all the women who are doing well in sports, right? From Saina Nehwal to Sania Mirza, to, I mean, I would like to take Simi Mehra's name, who's like a, founder of professional golf in our country. Nonita Lal Qureshi, she's an Arjuna awardee. So everyone's done so well. So I feel like everybody just needs to look at women who have already done well and just take lessons from them. Because if you give a girl a task to do, be assured that the task will 100% be done. So I just believe in that, and I think everybody should just follow that.
I couldn't agree more. If you ask a girl to do a task, be assured that she will do. But the point you made about how sports can help you become a leader, can help you be a team player. They always say if you want to see the character of a person, you should see him or her playing a
A
sport
sport, yeah,
and see how
100%.
they react. And the point you made on schools, so Sports Village, which is co-creating the show, they are working passionately with so many schools, and their dream is to have millions and millions of kids playing
Amazing.
sports. So I'm so I'm so glad that I'm doing this show along with them because
That's
of all the
amazing.
wonderful work that they are doing.
That's amazing. I mean, I wish you the best. And I hope like we can have more and more kids come out, especially girls come out and play like sports in our country.
Yes, yes, yes. So now we have come to the fun section of this
Awesome.
talk,
I've been
rapid
looking
fire
forward to
round.
this. Yes.
So I'm going to say 5 words, and when I say a word, you have to tell me what comes into your mind. Okay? Are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay, so the first word is food.
Soul. It hits my soul. Every time I think about food, it's just something that, like reminds me of how good I feel after I eat food. And it could be anything, because I'm a big foodie. So yeah.
Okay, the second word is family.
My pillars of support, everything. Today I am what I am because of them. And I mean, I know I wouldn't have achieved half the things that I have achieved if I didn't have them. So they are my pillars of support.
That's so nice. Okay, the third word is favorite exercise.
Plank. I love core workout, and you could put me in a plank position for like 10 minutes and I'd still be there because I just love it.
Oh my God, 10 minutes plank.
Yeah. I've done it once or twice. Now it's like I reduced it to like 5 to 6 minutes because my trainer's just like, you don't need to push it so much. Just calm down. But it's one of my favorite exercises.
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
So anything to do with core and I'll be in it. I'll be like,
Okay.
yeah, let's do this.
Okay, great. I wish a lot of us could feel like that. Okay, the fourth word is travel.
Travel would be adventure. I make sure that no matter which country I go to play golf, or if I'm traveling with my husband for his tennis, I like to explore the country, the city that I'm in. So it's like an adventure for me. Yeah.
Yeah, travel is an adventure and it makes you a storyteller.
Yes.
So I also love travel.
Oh, of course.
Yes. And the last word, passion.
Golf. I mean, it's something that I've been doing for the last 14, 15 years of my life. And I'm just a really passionate golfer, not just with respect to the sport, but to the different aspects of golf that it has. So yeah, it'd be golf.
Oh, thank you, Neha. I so enjoyed talking to you. So many takeaways for our viewers and listeners. And if you ask a girl to do anything, rest assured she can do it. That point I loved very much. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Friends, you can find this talk on Instagram, Zip2Fitness, on YouTube channel, hashtag Zip2Fitness, and on podcast, Spotify and Apple iTunes, Zip Talks. Thank you so much.